Hi, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and here is a Toby. Nobody can hear you guys. Y'all are busy talking about figures.
Toby.
Nerd.
And I was like,
They're cool.
we have to get started, but I have you all muted.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, Toby.
I get you.
Hi,
Are we
Toby.
unmuted now?
All right, guys, if you would like to make his day for just 500 bits, you can feed this poor Toby a snack. Right? Snacks.
Okay,
Nice
we are
snacks.
unmuted. Cool.
See how alert he is now that I said the word snack? Toby, you
Mhm.
hungry? Oh, hungry. That tail's kicking my calves in the ass.
Nerds. Oh.
Are you hungry? Whoa, careful, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
Careful. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Well,
I don't know why. I looked at my VR
Here's
headset
the
like, what if
thing.
I did
Here's
this
the
all
thing,
wearing the
Toby.
headset now, like having
if
Kindle
you
up
are
and
in fact
everything?
hungry,
It's like, look at me and how fancy I am.
Toby,
Yeah.
come here. Are you
Fancy.
indeed hungry? All right. So here's what I need you to do. Okay?
Let's see here.
I
Let's
need you to
see.
hop up here. Come here.
Look at how
this is how
fancy
you
I
order
am. I
snacks.
can
Come
see
here.
everything through this. Like, even though I can't
That's
see
pretty
anything at
cool.
all, actually. I
So
don't hear
here's what I want
anything.
you to do. I want you to look
That's
right
pretty
at
cool.
that camera
Do
right
I
there.
look cool yet?
Look
Am
at
I
right
hip?
there.
Yeah.
And beg. Beg really, really hard
Off
for
to
my
be
bits.
face.
square.
Beg for bits. All right.
He's camera
Like,
shy.
that's just
I
my
get it.
secret persona.
All right.
reveal
All
your
jokes
true form.
aside, all
I
kidding
can't see how
aside.
stupid it looks.
All jokes and all kidding aside.
Hello, everyone.
It's not about
Hey!
points.
Hi.
It's not points, it's bits. That's the difference. We're not talking about points. You're like, I'm saving points for later. And I'm like, Toby Pets
Welcome
is
to
not.
Whose Line Is It Anyway?
That's
To-
that's a
to-
different savings, I guess.
Yep.
Different currency.
Can you guys not hear me?
No, I can.
Okay, because you're talking
Yeah,
over
okay.
me a lot. And I was like, maybe something's
Hard
up
for the
on my end.
course.
I figured something was up on my end, and I was like, oh, well.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, Richie, you should
No,
know
I'm just
better. If
being
you were
rude.
quiet, we'd be sitting here
Mhm.
like.
okay, I can fix this. I can I'll hear you, but I can press a button, and then it's not a problem.
Yep.
No,
Easy.
yeah. But really quickly, it's not points, it's bits that feeds Toby. Toby gets pets for points, or just because I want to give him pets. Those. But if you want to feed the Toby extra food, it's not like he's starving or anything, though he will act like he hasn't had any food. You pull out a treat, and he's like, food? May I have? And it's like, motherfucker, I fed you like a whole bowl of dog food 5 minutes ago. Oh, remember
But
that.
I want more.
Want food. Don't remember
Yeah.
that.
More food.
Yeah, exactly. He's a
Yeah.
begging dog.
Yep.
Again.
Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
Okay.
Tempest wolves don't know it's not bacon. All right. I'll do pets later. Well, or all right, I'll do pets later. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. We're not worried about that. As far as monetary stuff goes, the main monetary thing right now is this above. Help DDA get The Forest. It's only $20, and we can gift him The Forest on Steam, because that's going to be the first game that we kind of play under our new title of idiots playing video games together. Or
What happened
Fat
to
Dog
Chuckleheads?
Idiots. Yeah, no, it's still called, the
Fat dogs
Knuckleheads.
play.
The Knuckleheads or the Chuckleheads? I don't know. We're weird.
Chuckleheads.
You could have very easily done the fat dogs play.
No.
Nah.
Eh.
There's a whole,
I say it aloud now, and I don't
there's
know.
a whole YouTube gaming channel where they kind of have that, and so
Oh.
over here on Twitch, we're not. No,
Okay.
that's why I
fair
didn't
enough.
say that. That's why I didn't say Dungeons and Fat Dogs, because that already exists. When we did the D&D,
Dungeons and Dogs.
no. When you say that, Overlords and Best Boys just seems like such a good name. I just came up with it randomly because I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
we've got two maniacal AI, and and a dog person. So it's like, overlords and best
Yes,
boys.
sir.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
That's where it came in. So. Oh, it could be we're all evil. We're all evil, Toby. All right, so last time on Slime Ball Z, we read not very far into chapter 3 because we got distracted for an hour making puns.
Mm-hmm.
Food puns.
Yeah, we should probably get down to the meat of the problem there.
Oh God, not again.
Aw, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah. I'm not bred for these kind of jokes.
Do you hear me? Do you hear this, Toby? You hear this shit over here?
Yeah, I guess we're just starting to chew the fat.
Yep. Yes, sir.
He's talking to the hot dog.
Toby is a hot dog.
No,
like
I'm
him.
patient. I'm patient. I'll wait. We can get back to slice of life later.
Here we go. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Misbehaving again.
At this
Acting
time,
out of
I'm
line.
not tolerating it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I missed what I'm best at. Yeah.
So you're saying?
Yeah, you missed it
I
last.
missed
Yeah,
what
we
I'm really
just.
best at. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, there's still the archive.
Yeah.
Anyone
they're
who
good.
makes
They're fine.
puns earns the title King of the Daves. That's not. That's not
how the Daves
de-incentivizing-
work, I think.
That's not de-incentivizing anybody. They're like, oh, I will be king of the Daves. Allow me to spit an hour's worth of puns, just because they know it'll annoy you or me. They'll do it.
For sure.
By the way, Twitch alerts are back on, so that should be good. I had them turned off this whole week and didn't realize it, and I was very sad by that. Yeah. It is what it is.
Of course.
So, what is that you have on your finger, sir?
Oh, that's a claw that I made in 5th grade. I used to have
The
like 5 of these.
claw.
It does
Aw, dude.
seem very convenient. Like, you can pick your nose a lot easier with that thing.
It is good at scratching your face.
Scratch his cheek, whatnot, yeah.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
butt scratch.
I only have 3 fingers
No,
left.
don't
I lost 2 of
ask
them.
for
but
to just look at
I used to have a
chat.
pole
That's all I
claw,
want.
and I was like, "Yeah, I'm so fucking cool."
God
I'm
damn
my
it.
own OC.
How many
Yeah.
Twitch names
don't-
do you have, lady?
I don't care
Have
about
no fear, you're
Trulies
5-star
right now.
Milam Nava.
I'm
is
I'm not here to get pranked, you know? Why can't I pause this now? It's infuriating.
This is excellent.
Mm.
I hate you.
I just want to look at chat. I don't want to actually look at the stream right now. I'm on the stream.
I love how
Are you
people
talking
who
to-
are on the stream don't want to watch the stream. Don't give us
Yeah.
views or
Oh,
anything.
I just have the stream going.
don't give
I
us
have it right
views
here,
or
so-
anything. Like
Do we count as
Yeah,
viewers?
on my phone.
yeah, you
No,
guys
I don't
probably
think
do.
so.
Oh, so there's only like.
There we
If
go.
you're
5
if you're
people here.
watching it,
There
if
we
you're
go.
watching it, then yeah.
Okay, so I
if
do
you're
count.
not, then no.
Now I can just have it over
It
there.
do matter. Okay, so I
True,
got more
because
like.
you got my
6
other
or
you
5
got your
people
other
here.
account back. Congratulations,
Yes.
Woo! Uh-oh.
Lady Chan. But yes, if you would like to see me, Rick,
There we
and DDA sit down, possibly with Fel, to play some of The Forest. If you don't know what The Forest is, it's very much a survival game with horror. But if you would like to watch us chuckleheads do all that, oh, you can't get your other account back. Gotcha. Cannot. All right. But if you'd like to watch us
That's why this
chuckleheads,
one.
if you'd like to watch us chuckleheads attempt to play this game and possibly fail and sabotage each other and all sorts of what other shenanigans we get up to, it would help us greatly if you would donate for the Vidya game. That's basically what the game costs. So it's like $19.99. So a couple bucks over isn't going to matter. And if we find out that DD can get it himself, then we'll give it to Fel. And if Fel can get it himself, well, we'll give it to Moon and make him play with us sometime.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, whoever we just
Whenever I
want to,
can.
whoever we want to gift with the terrible fate of following us through. And there may be multiple streams each week of the Chuckleheads. You never know. But we're gonna keep
Mhm.
it pretty consistent with the games that we play. We're not gonna go back and forth all over the place, but we will try to put this up there. So more gaming content coming to the Twitch channel very, very soon. All right.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna see a Steam key in my chat, like from Richard. I was like, oh no,
That
I've
having,
been summoned.
that having been said, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation.
I'm sorry. What? Can you say it again?
Huh?
Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation.
A little louder, sir, please.
Could you repeat that, sir?
Come on.
Ah,
you
yes,
can do
there it
better
is.
than that.
Yeah. All right, Toby, come here. Tell the people how it goes. Come here. Come on.
Rough of
He
the
goes,
rough read.
Bork, 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 bork. Which roughly
That's
translates
better.
to ladies and gentlemen of the
There you go.
congregation. Hi. All right, you can hop down now. You've done your priestly best.
Done your due diligence.
The Bishop of Best Boys is here.
It's true.
Yeah.
There.
Please open your books to page 136 of the physical copies. Where are they at on Kindle?
If you're reading 2 columns, about 41%, page 134.
Okay, and if you're not,
At least with the window size that I have.
oh,
If you are on-
If you were,
hold on.
let's see.
Hold on.
If you are 1 column, I have to change it. I have to change my settings. Single column, you're still about 130. No.
No.
You are
41%
135.
in, effectively.
No.
Yeah, 41% in. Just search for the words behind Hinata or Hinata shaded by some bamboo or some bamboo blinds, and you should be where we are.
Okay. And then for
So-
the non-Kindle users, what page? For
Over on
Bookwalker.
Bookwalker, you can find us at page 155.
All right.
Mhm.
There are a lot of different ways you guys can keep up with us. Now,
Yes,
that
sir.
having been said, Shim, you're going to read entirely too much today.
Okay.
So get
I'll
to
do my
reading.
best.
Get to
right.
reading.
18 minutes in. Let's go.
You got it.
Hey, that's pretty quick for us.
Oh, it is.
It's true.
Normally
Behind-
it's 8:30
behind
before we get started. Sorry.
I know, right? It's okay. It's all good.
There we go.
I mean, we can still make that happen.
Good. Except now, because behind Hinata, shaded by some bamboo blinds, the Holy Emperor Louis was taking in the joint conference at his seat. But just as proceedings were set to begin, Tsar immediately threw them into disorder.
I'm
whoa.
gonna
Is it
say
Sir?
it's
Sar?
I'm gonna say it's sare. Because
Sare? Okay.
usually in Japanese, if there's an e at the end, it's e.
Re.
E,
Okay,
U,
so
e.
Sare.
So sare.
Sare sounds
also,
weird.
Kali
Kali
from the
from the-
Valley.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Tsar immediately threw them into disorder. Whoa. Where did you get off being late? Not only did you fail to keep Veldora from waking up, you even let a new demon lord be born. And you're the fool representing us? If this is a joke, I'm not laughing. Like, even though Hinata was acknowledged leader, like, not all of her soldiers were particularly enthusiastic about the orders they carry out. Sare, having lost his fucking position as their leader, was the head of the anti-Hinata faction. I'm not a fan either. Over the
Fucking
last month,
bitch.
both divisions had like been set off worldwide by Hinata on a wealth of missions, bringing back assorted intelligence and confirming that the rash of like recent cataclysmic events were all connected
Oh, it's a
or some shit.
A rash of
Yeah.
events. Ugh.
Ugh. Like the ascension of Rimuru, the Storm Dragon's revival, the council, and like the recent turbulence in the kingdom of Farmus, all these happenings have their origin in Hinata reaching out to Rimuru. What a bitch! And Sare wasn't shy about implying as much. Excuse me. And Sare wasn't shy about implying as much.
What
You are
bitch.
being. This is weird. I'm
What?
so.
I'm doing my nails.
Yeah.
No, I just love the improv. What a bitch. It's-
What a bitch.
Ah,
She's so
such a fucking
terrible.
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to kill Rimuru.
She's a cunt.
Yes,
I like
true.
that guy. Whoa. What?
It's like I'm talking to like my hairdresser. You know.
Yeah. And I'm the bad guy?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, just imagine Rimuru
Yes,
going
you
to hair
are.
salon.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
Okay.
Just 'cause
Oh,
I'm the
God.
slime.
You,
I will
Yeah.
slime.
as long as I know how to slime, I know I'll
As
stay
long
slime.
as I know how to slime, I know I'll
Yeah.
gobble lives.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. I'm coming up with random bullshit.
A bigger
Works
bitch
well.
than Kyle's mom, lol. Maybe. That's debatable.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Kyle's mom's a big old bitch. Is the biggest bitch in the whole wide world.
Bitch, you know how well, yeah.
Yes.
King Kamehameha.
You are being
Everybody!
Holy shit, dude.
Shut
Shut the fuck up, you fucking Jew. It was like, Kyle!
Okay.
Like, what? You can't say that word. Wait.
Whoa!
Yeah? No. It means fuck. You can't say fuck in school, you fucking fat ass. It's like, why the fuck not?
Yeah. Such
you,
a good movie.
Good shit.
Do you want to go to the principal's office? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Garrison. What I meant to say was, suck my balls, Mr. Garrison.
No, it's stuck by fucking balls.
Suck my fucking balls, Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Garrison. There you go.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, dude.
I don't know who's
my God,
more
I
interesting in
think
that
you're
show,
kidding.
Garrus.
You bastard!
Again!
I like how the next sentence is, "You are being rude." Sir.
Oh,
You kind of are.
let's
Nice.
just say
Yeah.
that
All right,
too.
so
Yeah.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. Sorry
yeah,
for that.
yeah, all good. You are being rude, sir. Sorry. A bemused Renard coldly stated. Arnaud nodded to his fellow paladin. He's right, boy. If you have an issue with our captain, I'd be happy to work it out with you. Oh, Grigori fired back from his seat next to Sari. You fancy pants knights want to start a fight with us? Awfully pretentious of you, considering you only act that way around opponents polite enough to lose on purpose. What? You seem interested in a quick death. The meeting had grown almost immediately intense. Hinata took the opportunity to cool it down. Enough foolishness. Now's not the time for allies to be squabbling with each other. Sorry, if you'd like to take my place up here, you're welcome to my seat any time. I'll need to test you out first, though. Keep in mind. That was enough to bring silence back to the room. Her words went beyond mere frustration and well into the realm of murderous intent. If they kept carrying on, she was fully prepared to start slashing away. The audience was smart enough to pick up on that. It was rare for her to show that much emotion, forcing even Sari to admit that any more prodding would be dangerous. Instead, he just glared at her in frustration. I'll keep that in mind. He had already lost to her once, a battle he never should have botched. In his eyes, Hinata was the clear underdog, but the results proved the opposite. The memory of that day kept him from making any unwise moves. Until she could probe and reveal the secrets of Hinata's strength, he knew victory would never be his. So he did her bidding for now, uninterested in waging a war he couldn't win. With Sari calmed down, the joint mission finally began. Reporting, said Litus. Litus or Litus? I think it's Litus. Freshly returned from fieldwork around the forest of Jura. The forest was a perfect picture of peace. Despite Veldora's resurrection, I spotted groups of merchants entering and exiting the area. The caravans from Bloomin were streaming into the Tempest capital of Rimuru on a near-constant basis. The nation's trademarks, healing potions, were hot sellers, but merchants were also standing in line for rare goods like silk fabric and weapons made from monster-deprived or derived components. How's that working? Are they engaging in trade with a demon lord? We should think about Veldora first. The records say he's extremely belligerent, causing a swath of destruction wherever he goes, but I haven't seen any sign of that yet. Hinata raised a hand to wave the questions off. Let us hear the report to the end. Very well. I spoke with the merchants, and they said the Kingdom of Bloomin had declared full and open relations with Tempest. This includes a security guarantee. What? What'd you say?
No, I was just saying the word.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And Bloomin's citizens are allowed to come and go as they please. The highway connecting them to Tempest was also kept in neat and clean order. Even the animal droppings are briskly disposed of. There was no sign of monsters nearby, and overall, I believe the security agreement is legitimate and active. Did you travel down this highway? Yes, I wanted to see it for myself, so I disguised myself as a traveler. There are peacekeeping sentry posts at regular intervals along the road. When I reached town, I found it to be far more advanced than I expected. The concentration of magicals in the air was understandably higher than normal. but it was still below levels that would affect average people. It gave me the impression that Rimuru, true to his word, really does seek amicable relationships with humankind.
You know what highway it was?
The highway to hell.
No, it's
Just
the
kidding.
highway.
The danger
to
zone?
Tempest.
Yeah,
The
it's the cool one, right?
highway to
The one that
Tempest.
they're gonna put like magic crystals and shit on.
Highway to
To
the
the-
Rimuru.
Danger.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
No.
Tempest Zone, yeah.
The
Tempest
The
Zone.
city is named Rimuru. So
Yeah.
it's the highway to the Rimuru. Yeah.
We built this city on Tempest Road.
Yeah, that works.
On
I
Rimuru.
think it's accurate to say we built this city on slime commands. We built this
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
We built this
Built
city
this
on
city on
slime
slime
commands.
country.
Yeah.
I think Slime Country maybe would work
Dude,
better
no,
lyric-wise.
no, no,
but
no.
Yeah.
No. All right. So if we actually get into anime for season 3, right? The 1st thing that's gonna happen is we'll cut to it. We'll have to do the Tempest Road.
Yeah.
Take me home.
Take me home
To
to a
a
place
where I belong.
where I belong.
Rimuru
Or
City.
Rimuru.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
See?
Veldora, yeah, maybe.
That'd be great.
Veldora.
Eldora.
Yeah.
Country road.
Going
Take
on
me.
road. Going
Oh,
on.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you
Going
gotta
home.
No,
sing
instead of
it.
Veldora,
You
Forest
gotta sing
Jura.
it. You gotta sing it.
Forest
No. If we get season 3,
Hold on.
they're not going through Forest Jura. They're going through literally Tempest roads. It's the Jura Tempest Federation. So it's Tempest that is making like this big ass road. So you could say Tempest Road instead of Country Road. Because
Yeah,
there's
that's
way
perfect.
too much forest for it to be country. But,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, because they really developed it.
But you gotta sing it with this kind of a voice. So you gotta be Tempest Road.
Take me
Road.
Take me
Take me home.
I'm
To
bombing.
the
We
place.
Long.
I
Marshes
belong.
belong.
All right. Well, while we got that going-
Veldora.
all right. We've distracted ourselves long enough. Let's get back to the book.
All right.
We'll work it out later.
Yeah, I know. I'm working it out now. I'm gonna call Calvin and we're gonna get this locked in. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. I see.
Yeah, put it on
What
him.
about Okay. I see.
No, sorry.
What about Veldora? It's all good. Well, yes, about that. What is it? I was able to confirm his presence. Entry into the sealed cave was forbidden, and I failed to find any other spots the dragon might be lurking in. Hinata gave a placid nod to Lytus as she finished her report. If we can't confirm Veldora's existence, Fritz asked, could the news of his revival be a mistake? Hinata shot him a look to silence him. Luminous's divine missives are never wrong. At least we are sure of Rimuru's activity now. Let us move on. She kept the meeting going, having each attendee report on what they saw and heard, ensuring everyone had all available information at hand before they began to debate. So, things were tranquil from start to finish during my time in Inglacia. If their rivals at Farmus were to fall, I believe they would take the opportunity to expand upon their current power. The briefings continued. Master Rook's members had free reign to visit the Western nations, as well as the right to give orders to the Temple Knights stationed within their borders. They outranked even the local temple captains, after all, and while they customarily acted only on orders from Libelius for the sake of maintaining a simple chain of command, the Master Rooks could command them directly in emergency cases. This allowed them to operate practically above the law in the West, obtaining even some classified information with ease. This was one difference between them and the Paladins. The latter enjoyed similar unfettered travel access to foreign countries, but they were barred from giving orders to the Temple Knights. The organizations were two different entities. Although some Temple Knights later moved on to become Paladins, it was up to Hinata to utilize the pluses and minuses of both groups, deploying them where they would help the most. Sari's turn came at the very end. Listening to all these reports, he said, I think I'm starting to see what Hinata is trying to find out. My turn's next, and I'm guessing my report's supposed to be the clincher, huh? That's right. I gave that job to you because it's the most important one. I'd appreciate it if you got on with it. Well, the current news from Farmus, King Edmaris, has abdicated the throne, and on the surface it appears that the transfer of power has taken place peacefully. But Edward, the new king, is busy assembling an army of talented mercenaries, and in response, the nobility is starting to get frantic too. It looked to me like the signs of a looming civil war. Despite reports of the Rimuru's ascension being all over the news in the Western nations, Blumen's trade with Tempest was giving that whole nation a shot in the arm. Meanwhile, things couldn't be more chaotic in Farmus. The nobles were working in 100 different directions, many of them trying to shore up their military might in a hurry. Some had even made inroads with the Western Holy Church and the elders that led the council. It wouldn't be long before the swords came out. The impact on the people was already enormous, prices rising, distribution falling behind. Losing 20,000 troops had even led to a government-mandated conscription. Amateur soldiers wouldn't be much help in battle, but Farmus was so cornered that they had no other choice. It all pointed in the same direction: civil war. The surrounding small kingdoms had no consensus on how to respond to this, but all of them were on high alert against Farmus, smelling the tension in the air and fortifying their borders to ensure they didn't get involved.
Civil war.
They all
you
expected,
say.
yeah, civil war. We don't want your civil war. It defeats
The-
the rich and it
We
buries
don't
the
want
poor.
we don't want your silverware. We just want your civil war.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
What
They all-
is it good for?
absolutely none.
The
Say it again.
south of Tempest shall rise again.
The slime of tempest shall rise again.
The Slimageddon will be occurring.
Yep.
Slimageddon is
It's
it
gotta be
I'm
a name of
telling
an
you-
episode.
I'm telling you, that is going to be
That's
the
gotta be
name
an
of the
episode.
episode where retribution happens. We're just gonna call it
Yes!
Slimageddon 2023.
Slime
If we get that far, in
Slime
2023.
again?
Slime
Let's be
2K.
let's be fair. Let's be fair. It's probably
Yeah.
gonna be Slimageddon 2024.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, they all expected the fateful day to come before long. That alone, of course, isn't enough information to make a conclusion on whether the Demon Lord Rimuru is involved with this.
It really
True.
isn't.
So I went down the list of everyone King Edward made contact with. Important council leaders, free guild management, some merchants from the east, even our own soldiers. He's been busy. He's trying to shore up his military. Bingo. That's exactly it, Hinata. Well, it's settled then. This new king has no interest in paying war reparations of any kind. No demon lord would let that slap in the face go unchallenged, and I doubt Rimuru is foolish enough not to expect that from him. So do you think this is all part of our new demon lord's plans? Yeah, Hinata nodded. It's almost funny how all the pieces are falling into place. Based on what we can infer from this, it all seems to be gearing towards some kind of predestined conclusion. I'm like dangerously close to the snake voice. Someone's
No,
definitely
dear.
pulling the strings from the sidelines. Huh. The more she heard, the more convinced she became. Who was it? There could be just one answer. Clayman, that swindler who skulked around the Western nations for years, was gone. And the only one who could even begin to imitate him was Rimuru, this new member of the cast. I don't like this. You can't let your guard down around him. He's intelligent enough to lay out these thoroughly prepared strategies. Maybe he really was Japanese once.
I'm
Looking
trying-
back as she...
Kurt,
What?
I'm trying to have a debate at this conference, but the clap of my ass keeps interrupting my mouth.
Colonel.
So
My favorite line that I've gotten to hear over the last decade is, does your ass ever get jealous of your mouth for all the shit that it talks?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Good. Looking back as she calmly reevaluated Rimuru, this was all caused by her believing those Eastern merchants in the first place. They had built a relationship of trust over several years, and she completely fell for the line she was given. It was a fatal mistake, and she regretted it, and the worst part... Oh, somebody redeemed Llama Time. Okay, sorry about that.
Llama time is Cusco. You gotta
Yeah.
be Cusco.
They had built a relationship of trust over several years, and she completely fell for the line she was given. It was a fatal mistake, and she regretted it, and the worst part
You gotta
was
do
that
your
most
best,
of the
Patrick
intelligence-
Warburton.
Hey, Peter,
What-
could I
You gotta-
borrow your egg beater?
was,
It's like that voice.
fatal
kind of.
mistake, and
Patrick.
she regretted it. And the worst part was that most of the intelligence the merchants gave her was accurate. Only when the topic turned to Rimuru did the truth start to bend a bit. These little lies that were impossible to independently confirm, and Hinata had let them trick her. She had believed Rimuru back when the two of them were at the same locations. Maybe things would have developed differently. But, she reasoned, she couldn't dwell in the past. Nah.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together now.
It's all
Oh,
coming
the
together.
peasant from the diner. He didn't pay his check. Sorry.
I know what you're. I remember now. It just dawned on me what you're doing.
Yeah. And if we find slime, then we find Rimuru. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
It's all
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I know.
No,
Track.
no.
Oh,
He has a point.
look what I could do.
Like just he nods,
Hydrate!
just like on the
I don't think that's
ground,
what-
like
no.
picking up some
Yeah.
slime.
Let's get a point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
It's all coming
Then she
together.
noticed something about Sare's report that interested her. Sare, you said Edward made contact with the
Oh.
merchants as well.
You mean
What-
Rimuru's sword? The sword meant to stab Rimuru. Rimuru's sword.
the
The sword specifically
sword
for
specifically meant to stab Rimuru.
That
Rimuru's
sword?
sword.
Rimuru.
What
My
sword?
spinach puffs.
And then Rimuru comes up, and you know what else? I never liked your spinach puffs. Never.
Okay.
That's the
She's
real way
going
to kill
down.
her. Yep.
Oh, the
Cox.
lever.
Pitchfork. Yep. Sorry, you. I don't know. By all accounts, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, then she noticed something about Sare's report that interested her. Sorry, you said Edward made contact with merchants as well. What did they tell him? Eh? Why do you care about the merchants? The Demon Lord painted a picture for us to fall for, and that's that, right? I think we need to talk about, I think what we need to talk about is our future direction. What steps should we be taking right now? We do need that, but I still want to
You're
know.
filming a movie?
Tell me. Yes.
Future direction. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm gonna mute myself
The
now.
future direction. I thought money was the only thing those merchants ever talked about. Not so. They just have an instinctive habit of turning the conversation towards whatever will make them money. One of them got me, too, so you all need to watch yourselves. What did you learn from them? Huh, that's pretty impressive. And they managed to use a woman as calculating as yourself. I can't really think of anything in particular they said. Oh, hang on. There's a commercial zone in the area you covered, right, Glenda? Merchants from the east and west intermingle in there. Did you hear anything interesting? Sorry, I might not have liked Hinata much, but he was still loyal to his mission. He knew and acknowledged her talents the leadership that helped her craft the Crusaders out of a ragtag bunch of knights. She was merciless against the monsters. She put everything on the line to keep people safe. Somewhere in his heart, he appreciated that. That was why he followed all of Hinata's orders to the letter, never hiding anything he learned from her. He may have had a few ideas on how to seize his position back from her, but he had no intentions of dragging her down. He believed in the meritocracy, and for better or worse, he was earnest in everything he did. Hinata knew that as well. Glenda, meanwhile, well, as far as I know, there wasn't anything suspicious going on. Had no problems telling bare-faced lies. As a mercenary, she was well versed in navigating the underworld, experiencing untold amounts of mortal danger. Something about the tension in the air smelled like good money to her. Faith was one thing, making a profit was another. That was how Glenda worked, and while people saw her as a devout luminist, that wasn't the whole truth. What Glenda really wanted was the power that luminism had across the world. Sometimes it was money, but sometimes intelligence, sometimes war power, but Glenda needed it all. Her current position gave her open access, and she never, ever wanted to lose it. This was why she was hiding things from Hinata, including a meeting with merchants from the east in the very commercial zone Sari mentioned. She also made secret inroads with one of the council elders. She paid them money, and in exchange, they would spread false rumors around for her. Not now, but when the time was right for her. For the time being, she couldn't afford to have Hinata questioning her motives. Hinata was cold, unforgiving, and merciless to her enemies. She never left herself open to attack at any moment, but at the same time, she was open-minded, almost soft on her allies. Or, to be exact, Luminists. To her, fellow followers in her chosen faith were like family. That was extensively clear to Glenda. That softness let Hinata forgive Sare's backtalk. That softness made her fail to notice that people trying to betray her. And soon, Glenda thought, that softness was going to cost her the position she had worked so hard to achieve.
Bold of you to assume she doesn't notice.
I know, for real. If you're that interested, though, I could give it a more thorough look, though, Captain. Will you? Thanks. Just don't let the merchants fool you, all right? Don't let your guard down. Sure thing. I got a few connections, so I should be able to get some details. Glenda had the bad habit of making promises to Hinata without giving them much real thought. She had no idea her agreement let Hinata read fairly deeply into her mind. Taking a moment to carefully observe Glenda, Hinata sighed to herself. She must really think I'm that stupid. Perhaps she's under the mistaken impression that I'm soft on my people. She noticed. She fucking noticed.
Yep.
If that was true, she thought, then it really was a pity. Glenda had one thing wrong. Hinata wasn't one to think of her companions as that important. She considered them pawns to play for the sake of Luminous, and that was why she treated them so preciously. They all belonged to Luminous, and she wasn't allowed to waste them. The Crusaders oh yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go do that.
What?
Someone redeemed hydrate.
God damn it! I have literally peed twice since this began. I can't drink no more.
I would like that though.
Don't
Not the
make
pee,
me
but-
drink anymore, sir. I
The
can't
Crusaders,
handle it.
Can't handle it, yeah. The Crusaders she had raised to serve her as her arms and legs had absolute faith in her. They were basically Hinata's personal militia, and she trusted in that faith. The Knights of the Imperial Guard, on the other hand, often engaged in intolerably selfish activity. She let it slide only because they, too, had faith in Luminous. Sari was the epitome of that, mouthing off at Hinata and trying to rebel in any way he could. But both she and Sari knew this was just a front. He was a whiner, but he always followed orders, which, in a way, made him a breeze to handle. Plus the fact that Sari didn't know who Luminous was. Not just him either. Nobody besides Hinata was aware that the god Luminous was an actual person. I almost feel bad for them. They have no idea, just as I didn't. Glenda had real ambitions. She had the looks, talent, and an abundance of confidence. She must really believe she has what it takes to topple me, Hinata thought. She might even be trying to curry favor with Louis, the Holy Emperor, for the cause. She didn't know he was a vampire, so it was only natural that she'd try buttering him up for the sake of pushing Hinata away. Well, she's free to do what she wants. But if she was betraying the cause, that was another matter. Hinata never voiced a word of complaint about what the divisions she oversaw did, as long as they never crossed her or Luminous. But with a suspected traitor in their midst, Glenda's behavior was turning problematic. Hinata didn't intend to hold a purge right this moment. For all she knew, somebody might be taking advantage of her, but she needed to be on her guard. I'm starting to see a breakdown in discipline. Maybe it's time to teach them a lesson and set them back in line. The thought depressed Hinata, but there was more urgent issues. She mentally switched gears and spoke. All right, everyone has given their reports. I trust that everyone understands the current situation now. Yes, his assistant Renard said.
I don't
resurrection.
understand shit.
It's just like very tiny.
Just
Like
in the
you know,
background.
Oh, jeez, I don't get any of this.
Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
shut up, Morty.
Oh, jeez. Just reading a light novel, Rick. It's fine. I can't do a fucking Morty voice. It sucks.
Oh,
Yes.
jeez.
Yeah, it's. Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
My fucking
Ricky
throat.
got kind of chilled out, man. I'm
Yeah.
turning to Scooby there.
It's kind of, yeah, it's dangerously close to Shaggy. Anyway. Yes, his assistant Renard said. The resurrection of the Storm Dragon has had less of an impact than expected, the only casualties so far being the deployed Pharmas military. However, since this is likely a cover story spread by Rimuru, the real number could be 0. That's how it is, added Sari. I want to hear from Archbishop Raham, who survived it. We know Veldora is back, and I'm intensely curious about what happened on the battlefield. I thought so too. I've already called for him. He should be here soon. Hinata had already contacted Cardinal Nikolai, directing him to bring Raham to her. He was there for the defeat and probably saw Rimuru with his own eyes. Besides, given the several days' worth of apparent time between the advent of Veldora and Pharmas' defeat, the rumors going around the neighboring states about Veldora destroying all his forces was pretty unlikely. As a survivor, Raham's testimony should be extremely useful. He was supposed to arrive this morning, but was apparently behind schedule. I look forward to it. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Maybe he knows something about Veldora, too. There were rumors of the Demon Lord Rimuru negotiating with Veldora and calming his... There were rumors about the Demon Lord Rimuru negotiating with Veldora and calming his rage, Arnaud added. But I'm not sure what to make of that one either. He's revived, yes. But he's been lying low so far, yes. With that in mind, it seems rather plausible. Everyone nodded at this. Silently, they had all concluded that the Storm Dragon and the Demon Lord were involved with each other. In that case, Hinata saw no reason to hide what Luminous already told her. Yes, that much is true. I can say to you now that among the missives I received from our Lord Luminous, there was one about how Rimuru was controlling the Storm Dragon. As a result, she said, we must not lay hands on the Demon Lord Rimuru at the moment. Please bear that in mind. You mean... Hinata stood up. I'll be blunt, she said in her most authoritative voice. In this instance, we must remain undercover. None of our dealings with this demon lord must come out to the public. This was, in essence, in order for everyone to keep their hands off Rimuru and surprise them all. What? You want us to simply ignore all the theatrics he's pulling over in Farmus? Demon lords are untouchable as a rule, yes, but only in the public eye, if you recall. They're no match for any of the 10 great saints. Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry had a point. Humanity wasn't completely helpless against the S-class threat of the demon lords, or totally. They had built up enough force to fight back with, if necessary, and those were the enlightened classes, the 10 great saints being among them. Arnaud, Renard, and Grigori could each defeat a special A-ranked foe, Hinata thought. And even among the 10 great saints, Sari was outclassed only by Hinata in force. Against a demon lord, Sari wouldn't be that much of an underdog. You almost never saw storybook-style one-on-one duels in real life anyway. But if it turned out that way, she figured it'd be a close battle. If it was Clayman, that Western nation's sneak, the odds were even in Sari's favor. However, that only applied to the would-be demon lords, those strong enough for the role but not yet ascendant. Against a real demon lord, none of the 10 great saints had a chance in the end. To Hinata, who knew Luminous intimately, that much was obvious. And Rimuru, too. Farmus and other nations its size were home to extensive systems that summoned large crowds of otherworlders and raised them to be fighters. Many criticized it as a violation of human rights, but when faced with the common threat of human-destroying monsters, real needs tended to get in the way of noble intentions. Their numbers included Razan, the royal sorcerer who reincarnated himself all the way to Magic-born status, and the late commander of the Farmus Royal Knight Corps, Fulgen.
It's a violation of slime rights, man.
Slime, yeah.
Slime rights, man.
Yeah.
Where's our rights? Slime rights,
We got
man.
slime rights, man. I had to
Slime
have
rights.
slime hopes for a living.
Well, you're not a slime, so you don't have rights.
I'll be right back.
Wow. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a nap. You just take over for the whole thing, Shim.
All right, you got it.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'll do my best.
I'll be your side
Between that-
commentary. Don't worry.
All good.
Yes, Palpable from the Valley as your code commentary.
All right.
Veda.
What?
Like, oh my
What
God,
is it?
Vader, you won't believe what happened.
Oh my God, what was it?
So here I
can't
was,
wait.
minding my own business on
No,
my ship.
no, you weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
all right, you caught me. I
Yeah.
was driving it.
Mm.
I
That
was
mammoth
minding
amount of
my
force.
own business. Bullshit. I was.
Oh, I was. Val, I
Wow.
was Vader, Lord Vader. I swear.
Are you sure? I can't even do it.
I went out for a walk. Okay.
I find that hard to believe.
Look, and I may have came back with another potential Sith apprentice.
Oh God, Callie
Yeah.
from the Valley. Like, that mammoth amount of force was directed straight at the Demon Lord Rimuru, and they, like, fucking lost. Between that and Luminous telling Hinata, the bitch, the tale of how Rimuru killed Clayman instantly, nobody, 10 greats or not, held a fucking candle to him. Like, not unless they evolved further in the real meaning of the term, and became, like, true saints, like the bitch Hinata had. Right now, if all 10, like, took on Rimuru at once, everyone except Hinata would lose. She didn't want to see them waste their lives on the effort. Plus, though, we have both this Demon Lord and the Storm Dragon to deal with now. There's no doubting that any raw move might lead to further chaos, as Renard calmly pointed out. Like, Veldora was cooperating with Tempest. The Bellius could plunge all its forces into Tempest, and there was, like, still no telling who would win. But we cannot allow the Demon Lords to do whatever they please in the domains of humans. All this shouting. But we cannot allow the Demon Lords to do whatever they please in the domain of humans. Grigori's shouting brought the heated debate back to silence. It was, in a way, a summary of what every attendee was thinking to themselves. All eyes turned to Hinata. She remained calm, unaffected as she looked back at him. The missives of Luminous are absolute. We are not allowed to defy them. Come on! Is she telling us to let Farmus be razed to the ground? No, Lytus. That nation's main problem is the upcoming civil war. Its people, not its mobility. Oh. That nation's main problem is the upcoming civil war. Its people, not its nobility, must be protected. You need to pay close attention to the area, ensuring none of the sparks affect the people of Farmus or its neighbors. Meaning, we may see some changes in heads of state, but interfering with that would be meddling in internal affairs. That's the excuse they always used whenever we tried putting an end to their Otherworlders summoning projects, as I'm sure you remember. It's worked before for them, and they all but assume it'll work again. Hinata even let out a little smile as she coldly laid out the facts. In in that case, Grigori asked, should we just sit here and tolerate whatever Rimuru cares to do? Yes, we should. The Demon Lord has declared his disinterest in hostilities with the human race, and there's no further reason for us to be hostile in return. Archbishop Raham of Farmus was part of the invasion team, and I myself attempted to defeat Rimuru. We have both failed, and now that he likely sees us both as enemies, I'm not sure there is another option for us besides keeping quiet. But those are the mistakes of the Western Holy Church, and of yourself. It is not the mistake of Lubelius, Grigori bellowed. Hinata stood strong, her smile turning frigid. Exactly. And that is why you need to stay hands off. If worse comes to worse, I will declare that it was the arbitrary decision of the Western Holy Church to act against him. In other words, me. What? Lady Hinata! The Palatins voiced their objections as Hinata addressed the Master Rooks. Even Sari found himself unable to answer. Calm down. Calm down. I doubt he wants to wage war with us as well. The statement offered no comfort. Come on, Hinata. You really trust him that much? Sari asked. I know this sounds unlikely from someone who tried to kill him earlier, but yes, I think we can trust him. He told me himself that he's also an Otherworlder. I ignored it at the time, but it seemed he was trying to avoid conflict with me. An Otherworlder? So he was reincarnated as a Magicborn? Like the demon Leon? No. According to what he said, he died on his home planet and was resurrected as a slime on this one. Are you kidding me? You should know how much I dislike jokes, Sari. I've never heard that pattern before. There are cases of people being reborn, yeah, but that was just a matter of retaining your memories from the previous life. But crossing worlds while doing it? Maybe, but I've never haven't heard of it, Renard said, consulting his own memories. What are even the chances of being reincarnated as a slime? Arnaud asked. I mean, what if that happened to you, Lytus? Lytus's well-defined face twisted into a grimace. I wouldn't want to imagine it. If I can't even speak the language, how could I explain to people what I'm thinking? Given the literacy rates around the world, I'm not sure I could even convince people that I'm not a dumb animal. Slimes aren't supposed to talk. No speech, no arms or legs. Even if you shared a language, you wouldn't be able to use it. Thinking about it, Lytus even began to pity Rimuru a little. Yeah, true. I had dismissed his talking as the ravings of a monster, Hinata said. But I think he was probably telling the truth the whole time. At this point, I do feel I was a bit needlessly rough on him. If Rimuru wasn't lying, if he was trying his hardest to be honest with her, Hinata realized now that he probably hated her guts for not making even a perfunctory effort to communicate. Well, who can blame you? Sari reasoned. He's a monster. Yes, Renard said. And our faith forbids contact with them. Both of them likely would have done the same thing Hinata did in that situation. Their faith did not deal in gray areas. Lending an ear to a monster was unthinkable. And if Hinata did do that, it would lead to serious questions. Plus, I was told that Rimuru was the one who killed my master. What do you mean? I've talked about it before. Those Eastern merchants were using me. They told me that the monsters were transforming into people to eat their way into other nations, forming their own country and tricking the ones around them. They also said Rimuru, the named monster leading them, killed my master. I immediately resolved to kill him. Sari dejectedly shook his head. And you let him get away. Maybe that's not such a bad thing now, huh? He was right. By this point, it was clear this tip Hinata picked up from the merchants had given her nothing but trouble. She knew it, and she also knew that no matter how her encounter with Rimuru ended, she'd still be dealing with tons of fallout. I tell you, though, he has a natural talent for fleeing. Now he's a demon lord. Oh, this is her. I tell you, though, he has a natural talent for fleeing, and now he's a demon lord. He's undoubtedly evolved, so taking him on again couldn't be a good idea. No one objected. The missive was given. There was no use trying to argue on this on religious grounds. They would have to make an attempt at reconciliation. So, what are you going to do? Renard asked. I can't do anything, Hinata calmly replied. If this was a human being, she would readily risk her life to fight him. But if the Demon Lord Rimuru wants to build relations with other countries, Hinata was ready to silently accept that. She had no intention of turning her back on the will of Luminous. If Rimuru's actions start diverging from his words, on the other hand, that's another matter. Then what if Rimuru sees you as his enemy? Yeah, you did try to kill him. Now that he's got a bunch more power, maybe he'll try to get back at you, huh? I wouldn't blame the guy. Hinata brushed off the concern. I told you. I'll just say it was my own selfish decision. But before we engage in any hostilities, I want to try going over and talking with him. If need be, I'll give him an apology too. She made it sound so casual, the way she put it, but nobody in the joint meeting could let this pass. That's crazy! It's incredibly dangerous. The Demon Lord might set up a trap to kill you when he has the chance, Lady Hinata. Excuse me. The Demon Lord might set up a trap to kill you when he has the chance, Lady Hinata. Yes, and even if he doesn't, what if all his legions of monsters descend upon you? Calm down. I'm not saying I'll simply waltz over there tomorrow. I need to make sure I correctly understand Rimuru's mindset first. But as she attempted to simmer things down in the room, Hinata personally didn't expect much of a problem. The reports all painted Rimuru as a pretty soft-hearted person. In her brief experiences with him, she saw nothing that made her question this. If they could both speak frankly with each other, it was a selfish hope, she knew, but it seemed worth pursuing. It was hope, however, that could never be fulfilled. Among the tangled desires of so many players, all at the mercy of their own motives, things were now moving in a worse direction than even Hinata anticipated.
Alrighty. Moon, you're up.
There was a knock on the conference room door. Come in, Hinata curtly replied, assuming it was finally Ray. The guards on the other side obliged, opening the heavy door, and inside strode exactly the man she expected, Cardinal Nicholas. One of her most trusted of friends, and a nervous-looking Archbishop Rahim behind him. That much had all been scheduled in advance, but it was the group filing in behind them that made Hinata's eyebrows arch upward. The 7 days clergy was here. Good to see you again, Hinata. Are you in good health? What are you looking so surprised for? Hinata couldn't hide her astonishment. Why are all of you here? She unconsciously whispered. The normally staid cardinal was looking nervous himself, and Rahim was white as a sheet. Who are these guys, Hinata? Sarai asked. Silence, Sarai. No. Silence, Sarai. Nicholas hurriedly replied. You are in the presence of the 7 days. Nicholas sat up straight, startled. The 7 days? The ones of legend? Exactly, Hinata admitted. And when she did, everyone in the room stood up and saluted. The members of the 7 days clergy were all wise and well-trained, surpassing the realm of enlightened and charged with training the next generation of heroes. Their existence was the stuff of legend, shrouded in mystery, and they never went out in public, content with being discussed in the context of fairy tales. Not even the paladins knew about them. Only a few directly interacted with them, including Hinata and Nicholas. One had to be at the very top of the Western Holy Church to be introduced to them. This was the group that administered the 7 days trial undertaken by Hinata, a test to help determine the next heroes and champions of humanity. This responsibility made the clergy a vital part of the church, but Hinata hated them. They were top-level advisors to the church, ordered by Luminous to oversee the organization and educate its staff. However, before Hinata took up her post, the Crusaders were an organization in name only. To her, it was sheer negligence. Looking back, I should have stripped them of their powers when I had the chance. Hinata's unique skill, Usurper, worked in 2 ways. One, called Seize, took away its target's skills. The other, called Copy, let her learn them for herself. During her trial, she thought of the clergy as legendary contributors to the Luminous cause, so she naturally exercised Copy to learn from their powers and improve herself. One could call her an apprentice to the clergy along those lines, but the 7 days were not having it. They shunned Hinata for daring to rise above them, interfering with her in any way they could find. This was a crafty group, one that had lurked in the darkness of the church and called the shots for an untold amount of time. But there was nothing productive in their actions. And once she took the trial and realized that, Hinata immediately judged them to be useless relics, took their skills, and left. Now she was using what she learned to train Arnod and the rest of the division commanders. I wonder if that's why Luminous had me take the 7 days trial in the first place. Posture check. Um,
Mhm.
if she did, she had to hand it to Luminous. Such incredible wisdom to her. Such incredible wisdom. To her, the clergy had plainly abandoned their mission to train the next generation, instead focusing on covering their own backs. But if Luminous let them daughter on, there must have been a reason for it. That was why she never defied them, not in public. Yeah. Once everyone was seated again, Hinata addressed the group. So may I ask what brings you here today? No need for alarm. No, Archbishop Rahim here has brought back some information about the Demon Lord Rimuru, has he not? We were simply interested in hearing about it ourselves. The voices echoed around in her mind. The 7 days clergy used thought communication to answer her. She sized them up again. Thought communication? Isn't that a monsters only thing? There
I
were
don't think
three
there's
of
anything
them.
that specifies that.
There were 3 of them present, not the entire contingent, and in her judgment, these were the most corrupt ones out of the entire group. Among them was Arze, the Tuesday priest, who governed fire. His force was like a disposable lighter compared with Shizu Izawa's. He had nothing to teach, and Hinata didn't even need Usurper to complete his trial. But for some reason, he must have assumed she was incapable of seizing his skills. That made him look down at her constantly, which rankled her. The other two present, Dina, the Monday priest, and Vena, the Friday priest, Hinata couldn't guess at their motives. Helping Arze out, probably. But sure, Luminous ordered me to make this as quick and painless as possible, too. Hinata grew nervous. Rimuru already had a poor impression of her. If she let this clergy get in her way here, she might never be able to reconcile with him. But as long as she didn't have a bead on their goals, she had to focus on Rahim. She turned off her mind as she lent him an ear. I was foolish, Rahim began. We challenged a foe that was fearsome, far too fearsome for any of us. He is a demon lord beyond a shadow of a doubt. Through our own foolishness, we have engineered the birth of a new demon lord. His memories of the event put him into a frenzy. His eyes bloodshot, and his voice raised to a near scream. He continued. Oh, I'll fix that. He continued recounting the events that led to his birth. His misguided deeds all laid bare without omission. It wasn't on someone's orders. He was being driven by the compulsion that he simply had to do it. He needed absolution for his sins, if he ever hoped to be free from his pain and forgiven by his God. As he told the story, the paladins began to murmur among themselves. The sheer force of this adversary beyond all common sense made it hard for them to contain their composure. Neither an anti-magic barrier nor a long-range magic-specific defensive wall was enough to stop these monsters. Not even a holy barrier could mount any defense against those flashes of light. But Hinata stayed resolute. Based on Rahim's testimony, she surmised it was an attack involving concentrated sunlight. And as if to back up that theory, the 7 days clergy began to provide their own commentary. Perhaps this is sunlight magic, the kind Sir Grin was always so gifted at. Light-bending magic? Wouldn't an anti-magic barrier shut that down? And Grin's didn't have that much force to it. Grin, the Sunday priest, was head of the clergy, his magic commanding light. One of his spells concentrated sunlight in a similar way, and while the clergy was on the wrong track with their theories, if they and Hinata had the same impression of this, Hinata assumed she was right. Idiots. It's not directly bending the sunlight with magic. It's reflecting the light off something else to focus it into a beam. Otherwise, the barrier could have easily blocked it. Were water and wind elementals cooperating with him then? But that would take a lot of complex calculation. But she had nothing to fear. Once she knew the trick behind it, it was easy to counter. Just put up a protective film to diffuse the heat and scatter dust in the air to refract the light, and the threat was neutralized. If sunlight was the only thing it harnessed, the attack was full of holes to exploit. To Hinata, the attack was worthless. As far as I can tell, he was using his scientific knowledge from the other world for that attack. No wonder people here couldn't deal with it. They couldn't even understand it. Using it to poke holes in their magical defense was smart. Though not smart though. Not a stone unturned. It took a lot of computing power to engineer that attack as well as multiple ongoing spells at once. That was a serious threat, but now that Hinata knew what it really was, it didn't seem that fearsome any longer. But Hinata was making her conclusions too quickly. Rahim wasn't done talking. There was more. The main course, in fact. One moment, that mystery attack was a dreadful thing. Sir Hogan was helplessly killed. Sir Razin could do nothing against it. Nearly 10,000 of our finest knights were felled by it, I think. But he paused here, nervously swallowing, sweat running down his head, trying his best to hold back terror. The real horror came after that. The next moment, the battlefield went completely quiet. Yeah. Some were unconscious, fatally hurt. Others were wounded and screaming on the ground. Still, more were healthy but wandering around, scared out of their wits. The cacophony they all created together set the battlefield to a frenzy, and yet, the very next moment, Rahim said, all the noise was gone. What do you
All I
mean?
heard was my leg.
I mean exactly what I said, Lady Hinata. At that moment, the surviving members of that 20,000 strong force died. Only 3 remained alive. Sir Razin, Ed Morris, the King of Farmus, and me. Seeing it made me lose my sanity. I was so stricken with fear that I fainted. At Rahim's tale, a similar silence fell over the holy cathedral. A single monster killed a force of 20,000 in an instant. The truth of that could hardly be commented on in words. And amid the solemn tension, everyone was recalling the same legend in their mind. The tale of a single person laying waste to an entire city and becoming a demon lord. Then Hinata recalled something Luminous herself told her. The precursor to the Western Holy Church was launched a good dozen centuries ago, likely longer, but that is as far back as the records exist. Its people, however, had first moved here 2 millennia ago, driven away after Veldora destroyed their kingdom. The dragon's strength and immortality put them beyond hope. Trying to engage it would only add to the dead. To the vampires that called this place home, Veldora prancing around and destroying humanity would lead to food shortages. The purest of high-quality vitality could only be obtained from human beings, and while Luminous and her family were safe, this was a matter of life or death to the lower-level vampires. Thus, Luminous was forced to come up with their current co-op approach to protecting humanity. She rescued them, really, and now they worshipped her as a god. And it was all the fault of Veldora on the rampage. He was worse than any natural disaster, a threat impossible to prepare for, a catastrophe. That classified him as Special S on the scale, something humanity just couldn't deal with. But he wasn't the only large-scale destroyer of worlds. The only creatures in the Special S rank right now were the 4 dragons known to exist. But that's only the public story. In mythology, meanwhile, there were records of 2 demon lords exacting a similar campaign of death and madness. These were Guy Crimson, Lord of Darkness, and Milim Nava, the Destroyer. Demon lords all got an S rank, but there was disparity in these rankings. Some creatures, like these 2, could be rated Special S behind the scenes, and as Luminous explained, it happened when a potential demon lord was awakened by engineering massive destruction, taking in the souls of the resulting dead. Evolution beyond imagination would result. The term Demon Lord technically referred to the true ones who underwent this evolution, and even then, it could take place across several levels. It left some Demon Lords as powerful as dragons, and Luminous wondered if Guy and Milim had evolved beyond that. Even Luminous, as a true Demon Lord, had no chance against them. If I fought Milim, she told Hinata, maybe I could outwit her. Maybe it'd be a good fight, if it came to that. But I'd never win in the end. And what about Guy? Ha! It vexes me terribly, but it would be hopeless. He's in his own world. Someone as self-confident as Luminous, whose powers Hinata couldn't even begin to fathom, describing Guy's force as belonging to another dimension. It made Hinata think about Guy and about Milim, who actually faced off against him once. It was hard to imagine. That's what the special S ranking was for. If all of humankind banded together, maybe they could deal with such a monster. But even that was wishful thinking, because it assumed the presence of a hero in the human ranks. There was no hero right now, and thus no chance. Plus, the current lineup of demon lords, the Octagram, was on its own level of danger, Rimuru included. Luminous believed Rimuru was still in the midst of awakening, and Rahim's words were more than enough to back that up.
And that's where we'll stop with you and move on
Okay.
to Sonic.
Soon the others began. I'm making sure I'm at the
Yeah.
right spot
Yes,
here.
that's the correct
Okay.
spot.
Okay, just making sure.
And you're going to go until
Oops,
the
I forgot.
interlude.
Okay.
So you're basically going to
Soon the
finish
others-
out chapter 3 for us. You've got 1, 2,
Gotcha.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. There's a picture on one, so I only said 8 pages. Even though it's
Okay, so
technically-
once we hit the picture, basically.
No, well, once you hit the picture, you've got what's left of the page, at least in
Oh,
my
okay.
version. No, you have until you get to the interlude, the private chat. That's where you're you're finishing the chapter entirely.
Gotcha.
So go.
Soon the others began to recall the story of the true demon lords, those fearsome presences. They were not revealed to the public lest panic resulted, but they were real, and they were threats. When the first dragon lost its power, it showed no signs of regenerating itself for some reason. Out of the other 3, one had been sealed away until recently, but now he was back and supporting Rimuru, a demon lord who massacred a force of 20,000 by himself. This was comparable to what those other 2 demon lords did long ago. The structural destruction wasn't there, maybe, but the number of souls he obtained had to be staggering. A heavy silence filled the room. It was clear no one wanted to admit that a demon lord, in the real meaning of the term, had been born. There was an overwhelming difference between a potential demon lord and a true one, and everyone in the room understood that. Finally, it was Hinata who quietly broke the silence. I see. So we should assume the demon lord Rimuru had been awakened? The word cut like a sharp knife through the silence, lighting a fire under those who could no longer tolerate the stillness. I suppose we should. Now what? If we leave him be, he'll become a threat beyond anything we can handle, won't he? Calm down. Rimuru is a former human. If he seeks to live alongside humanity, there shouldn't be any need to fight him. Right, but we need to see how he reacts. But we know the fact that he's mowed down 20,000 knights without hesitation. He's clearly a threat. Are you sure we should simply believe him? That final comment from Renard summed up everyone's thoughts. That's how many wars began. The mind playing tricks, stirring fear of a potential opponent. That was true enough even among the human race. If the adversity was a demon lord, it was going to be hard to trust him. It wouldn't be an issue if the adversary could be hunted down at any moment. But Rimuru was growing more powerful. Adversary, thank you.
Yeah, adversity is what it sounded like.
I don't
you were
know why
trying to
I said
say.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I caught myself. I think I said it the same way again.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
Adversity.
Adversary.
So in this
Adversary.
case,
Still working
yeah.
Oh.
So in this case, it would be adversary.
Would it still work
Adversary.
in that sentence, though, if the adversary were Yeah.
Adversary?
Adversary.
Yeah.
Adversary. That adversary could be hunted down at any moment.
I knew I
But
had the right
Rimuru was
word.
growing more powerful. I didn't know! More powerful at a rapid pace. To the paladins guarding humanity and the knights serving as the Holy Emperor's blade, they needed to entertain the idea of tackling him before he grew truly impossible to handle. But Hinata stuck up to her guns. Silence, everyone, she firmly stated. The missive is absolute. Nothing anyone could say would change her mind. As captain of the Crusaders and chief knight of the Imperial Guard, she guided the hearts and minds of the Holy Empire of Name, I don't know the name.
Rebellious.
Rebellious.
Lubellius.
I just imagine just the
Yeah.
raise the hand. Red button.
Repeat after me.
Yeah.
Lubellius.
Lubellius.
There you go.
Mhm.
I state your name.
She
Hereby serve Lubellius.
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 Eh.
She had to be a model for every citizen, a firm leader for those who served under her. Her mind would change only if it did so within the will of Luminous. That was what.
Can you imagine if that's how the Dragon Faithful like were? They were just like Hayam Milim, and it was like, what? No.
Oh my god.
Oh no! Oh no! Ugh, I really don't appreciate that. Like, guys, we really need to talk about the hand signal. I mean, it's just really. Why? What is wrong with it?
What is wrong with
It's
it?
like, look.
It's just saying hi. We are just raising our hand, like
That's
the knights of old.
Everyone.
Just like
It's
the
like,
knights of
okay.
old. They would greet each
Like,
other
look,
and
you guys
salute
clear-
like this. Nobody is doing this. We are saying hi like this. We're just saying hi. Calm down. I mean, you can exercise like this. Haven't you ever lifted? Talk to Hans in front.
You do squats.
Maybe
This is
they'll
how you
help
do it.
Yeah,
You
this
put
is
your
how
hands
you
out like
do it.
that.
You put your hands up and then you take your hands down. It's like the hokey pokey. Right.
You know, we make this joke, but
We
it's literally how
really-
I tell my
we
dog
really
Boomer
went
to
off
come over here,
topic
like
on
doing
that.
this.
Yeah.
I'm luminous. She's like, okay, guys, I know you guys don't know what the Nazi because it's a different world, but seriously,
Yeah.
it's like I need to tell you what the story of the Nazis. You don't know it because it's a different world, but yeah,
Oh god.
yeah, no, yeah. It's just Hinata has to sit everyone down.
Hold on.
It's like this is why I don't like this. All right.
Yeah. Hold up.
That was just what made her so unwaveringly resolute. I don't know why I said resolve there. And with that, the joint session would end. Everyone returning to their intelligence gathering duties, or it should have been. But evil has a way of appearing from the most unexpected of crevices. I do not stop there. I keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just see
Yeah,
the
you got
thing
more
there.
pages.
Okay.
Yeah, you got more pieces. You're good.
Okay. Ray. Why am I blanking on? I've heard his name. I don't know why I'm blanking on it now. I hate names. Raheem, right? Or Rahim. Hilm,
Rayhelm.
right?
Ray.
Rayhelm, thank you.
Yeah, either one.
I just every time
Yeah,
it's just my
fine.
brain resets on these names every session.
Yeah, it's all right. I get it. It's
Just like I need to have like as soon as they pop up, it's like okay, button. Thank you.
yeah. I
Tells
think we
me
say
names.
different names too, because I say Rayheim, and
Yeah, no,
I know.
I
I know
say
it's
Raheem
guy.
the whole
We just
time,
know him
so-
just completely Raheem. Yeah.
it's
I think I've been
whichever.
doing Moon's interpretation of it.
yeah, that's good.
Raheem.
Yeah,
Do you have any? Did I say it differently there too? I just noticed.
no,
Wow.
no. You said it. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
So, mhm.
Did you have any other messages for us? Just as Hinata was going to end the meeting, the 7 days clergy finally spoke up. It seemed to jog Raheem's mind as he stood a crystal ball as he took a crystal ball out of his pocket and reverently handed it to Hinata.
Sorry,
Reverently, what?
Yeah.
Who uses these words?
I don't know. I learn like new words every light novel stream. So
Goodness.
Like,
reverently.
try Final Fantasy
I
14.
Look at the definition
will
of
get better.
reverently.
Hold on.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, reverently means like with deep and solemn respect. So like, here you go. Something
reverently.
Like that. Yeah,
Just say
reverently, yeah.
respectfully. I'm probably gonna
I know
bitch about
that's
that
the
every
thing.
stream.
I don't know. That's fair. It's just that
It's
a lot of
so
light
this-
novels
these-
use pretty giant words. So
It's like,
You know.
ooh, this writer. I like this
Yeah,
writer. He was a
so-
big word.
adversary.
But for
I actually
a lot
have
of it,
to do
it's-
it.
You don't
Yeah.
want to repeat words a lot because then it becomes a struggle
Yeah.
to read after a while. Because it's
Mm.
like
Yeah.
he respectfully said a respectful word, like use.
That
use
is
different
true.
things. So
It's just flavor. They probably just found a thesaurus and they're like, all All right. I'll
How
use
do
this
I
word.
make this word sound better?
Yeah, if this word sounds cool, just throw it in there.
I had to do this.
Mhm.
The writer and Raheem.
Yep.
It's said to be a message from Demon Lord Rimuru to you, Lady Hinata. A message? From me? From Otacon?
Yeah.
From Revolver Ocelot?
Message.
Yep,
Huh.
I'm a hacker, all right.
Metal Gear? From Liquid Snake? From
Just like
no,
all my
hold on. From
light novels. Oh
from
God.
oh, I want to make a pun with like slime and snake. I don't know how you could do slime and snake.
Uh,
It's like Liquid Snake, but yeah, doesn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
like. I can't make it work. Oh well, maybe someone in the chat will make it work. I don't know.
Slimy snake.
Slimy snake.
Shout out to
Message.
Richie for
Solid
making us active our new words.
Solid slime.
Mhm. Solid slime. Yeah, that works.
Solid. There we. Hey, yeah, there we go.
Yep.
But that's actually contradictory because a slime can't be solid.
It could
I
be though.
mean, technically,
It could be,
if you
though.
really want to think about it, a slime has
Maybe.
control over its
Hold on, I have
rigidity.
Some right
I
So
guess.
Hold on, I have some right
Maybe.
here actually.
Some liquid slime or solid slime.
Yep,
the hell is
I
that?
guess.
it's slime.
Some
It's
slime.
like, yeah, I just had some in like this weird egg thing that I found.
Alright.
It's weird that
Yeah.
you just have that on hand too.
It's just right here because it came with like this cool like dragon figure that I have, but it was just all the pieces were in this slime shit. So I was like, oh, I guess I just got slime now. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think
a
that's like
giant
something I
thing.
had as like kindergarten or something. I don't know. It's
Nice.
weird.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, cool. I can pull out the figure. Let me see if I can find him. It's pretty.
Is that the crystal ball that is Raheem hand to Hinata? Whatever.
Kinda. I mean, this is what came in the figure thing, so I know we're taking a slight deviation.
Oh,
Dear
okay.
God, I
There's like a
step
cool
away for
dragon
4
thing.
minutes.
She accepted it, eyeing it with
Yeah.
suspicion. A message from Rimuru was likely something she couldn't afford to ignore. This crystal ball, provided by Raheem, at the prodding of the clergy, was a highly valued magic item. It allowed anyone to record moving picture images, making it a useful way to transmit messages. Question: How many images per second? How many frames are we talking here?
At least 2.
Sorry,
Uh,
2 frames a second. Man,
Yes.
that magic. It also saw use in international negotiation, seen as a more trustworthy piece of evidence than a written letter. Regardless of where Rimuru managed to procure one of these, Hinata immediately tried playing it back. Given all the jeez, I'm gonna butcher this. Dignitaries, damn it,
dignitaries.
Dignitaries, yeah.
dignitaries. Thank you. On
Mhm.
site, it could be a great chance for everyone to see what Rimuru looked like. But it wasn't the end of it. The image showed a beautiful girl, but it wasn't a girl. It was the Demon Lord himself. His face, reminiscent of Hinata's teacher, Shizunu Aoi, looked at the viewers coldly, without emotion. The sense of presence he had came across at full force through the video image. Hinata blinked at it. What a surprise! Like a different person from a few months ago. Her eyes met with Rimuru in the image. Was that a coincidence? Or she began to realize just how nervous she was. Rimuru, a fellow countryman, a soft-hearted demon lord. Maybe her sentimentality was making her underestimate this threat. Logically, she knew that, and as if it to back up that suspicion. I'll take you on, you and me, one-on-one, in a one-on-one duel. 1v1 me on Rust. Let's
Yeah,
go.
basically.
1v1 me on Rust, bro.
Fox
Sorry.
v Fox, no items, final destination. Let's go.
Smash time.
Mm-hmm.
Get your GameCube controller.
I'm
my
sorry,
God.
1v1 you on what again?
Final
On
destination.
Rust.
Oh.
Oh, I did Modern Warfare
See,
too, and then he
'cause I
did
heard,
Smash.
Because I heard 2 different things. Yeah.
That was the entire message. So incredibly simple, no room for misunderstanding. Everyone viewing it took home the same message. Rimuru was enraged. He killed Clayman for getting in his way, and Hinata's up next. For a change, even Nicholas looked perturbed. What should we do, Lady Hinata? But before she could answer, Lady Hinata, your orders. I would gladly lead a force to crush this demon lord's ambitions. Arnold, even ever the hot-blooded military man, pushed the issue. The debate was now in full swing again. Come on, cried Saul, giving Arnold an astounded look. You're a master swordsman, sure, but don't you think your brain could use some work? What? Didn't Hinata just spend half an hour saying, hands off? We touch him and the other demon lords aren't going to take that sitting down? Plus, if he's a fully awakened demon lord, it'd be even more ill-advised to prod him. I think we should just chill out and accept our opponent's request. He's right, Arnold, Lyris said, nodding in agreement. If we had Veldora to deal with as well, we'd have no chance of winning. Victory would only come with losses that would be impossible to take. If the adversary seeks a duel, better for all of us if we have Hinata accept it. A full clash of forces would result in what had to be staggering casualties with no guarantee of victory. Having the most powerful knight in the Holy Empire take the lead instead of it seemed far more palpable. If anything, the idea filled Saul and Lyris' optimism. There was no doubting Hinata's victory now. Hinata, meanwhile, weighed her options. Arnold's offer of a full battle force was out of question. Getting her nation involved would escalate into the total war that Lyris feared, likely dragging the other Western nations and developing into a world war. The masses they swore to protect in crisis like these would turn into a severe disadvantage. It would go against the desire of Luminous. Veldora, too, was a menace. In terms of keeping losses to a minimum, Rimuru's offer of a duel couldn't have come at a better time. But how should I take this? It gave Hinata a pause. I don't think my cardboard box is going to be enough for this one. Sorry. Looking back, she was extremely lucky she hadn't invaded Tempest without fully grasping the situation there. She had Luminous's great wisdom to thank for that. If their opponent had ascended to true demon lordhood, things like the number on the field no longer held meaning. No matter how tenacious they were, unless they met a fairly lofty bar, they were useless. The disaster that befell Farmus was proof of that. But no. When Rimuru fought Farmus, that must have been before he ascended. It was their defeat that generated the necessary number of souls for the job. He had wiped out 20,000 without even being awakened. What a monster, truly. Opponent to rival Metal Gear. Actually, I think we would surpass Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Richie,
Wait.
you're muted.
Shit, I thought I was muted before, but I was not, and then I clicked to unmute and I muted myself.
Uh-oh.
Why is everyone trying to imitate Solid Snake?
Because Hinata. From last stream.
No.
Yeah.
We made the joke.
No.
No,
you will.
I have.
You voice snake.
You avoid
Sorry.
Snake, Shim.
I just kind of caught in. That was my bad.
Alright.
Sorry, I started it, and then I went back, and then people picked it
no.
up because it's funny. It was a funny, and then it yeah. I'm sorry.
It was a funny joke.
Yeah, funny. Anyway, do thing.
Alright.
Also, apparently, I'm
Right.
giving everyone the finger. So, yes,
Ah,
you get fingered.
get fingered.
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting on her battle with Rimuru, she didn't think he was capable of something like that. Perhaps he had been restraining himself, but now he wanted her dead, no doubt. But if he hated her, why go through the trouble of challenging her to a duel for revenge? It seemed unnatural. If he felt Hinata and the Western Holy Church were a thorn in his side, it was a strange time to act on that impulse. If he was foolish enough not to see that, he couldn't be going through with all this undiscovered. Hold on. Let me redo that. He wouldn't be going through all of this undiscovered druggery?
It's okay.
Oh.
Undercover skullduggery. I don't know what skullduggery is.
Duggery. Yeah, that one threw me up a little bit. Against Varmus.
You've never heard of skullduggery?
I've never heard of
No.
that word.
Fucking children.
It
man. They don't know-
is.
They don't know words.
I don't know what that is.
Nobody studies
I
it.
Underhanded, underhanded or unscrupulous behavior, trickery. Okay. Thanks, Google.
Not the first time we ran into a word like
I
that
don't
today.
know.
We had to look up.
I've never heard of the word skullduggery until today.
Maybe it's
It's
because
it's not in my.
I don't know. Wait a
lexicon.
minute. Moon, have you heard skullduggery?
Yes, I have.
See, I
Okay.
figured it's a southern thing.
It's a skullduggery thing if I
it's-
ever heard one.
No.
I think it more generated from pirates, so
You know, it does involve skulls. Makes
Clearly,
sense.
you're not real pirates. That's all.
Yar,
Oh,
it
yo.
be a terrible life.
Yo ho ho! I took a bite of gum gum. I'm gonna go drink.
Apparently, there's also a
Perhaps there was
rapper
some
named
other
Skullduggery.
reason.
Yayo yayo.
Dreaming. It was unnatural for him. Of him, yes.
Mhm.
Had something changed? Did the ascension of Demon Lord come at the cost of his humanity? Acquiring that much power at once would crush any human being's soul. She saw for herself how much trouble Shiznu had containing Ifrit's berserk force. It'd easily drive anyone mad, especially if he was now a true Demon Lord. But maybe not. He had no reason to ally himself with the human nations then. Luminous told her that Reamer swore to keep humanity safe. If his human heart was a thing of the past, his declaration to build his own city no longer made sense. There wasn't enough information to work with, Hinata thought. Her measurer skill wasn't providing any answers. It seemed like the truth was still hidden somewhere. Besides, this whole crystal ball gambit was weird in and of itself. It could store up many hours of footage if necessary, but his message was only a few seconds long. She couldn't shake the impression that some ulterior meaning was lurking behind it. Plus, the Tuesday priest just let out that he knew Reamer had something for him. Why? Rahim had filed his report. He hadn't said a word about Reamer's message. But Arzo,
Arze. I don't know.
Arze.
I think it's,
I'm assuming Ars because I think the E's silent.
yeah.
Had asked
But
him.
arse is funny.
Ars.
Yeah.
He's the pirate.
I was thinking more like
Yeah.
arse, like ass. But that works too.
Ars.
Ours is probably the right way to say it. So anyway, go ahead.
Had asked him, "Did you have any other message for us?" And Hinata had picked up on this unnatural choice of words. The seeds of doubt were beginning to bud in her mind, although she swallowed them up and refused to let them sprout upon her face. Instead, she simply continued measuring her position, letting no stone go unturned. Fortunately, there was just too little data to work with. She couldn't try crunching the numbers and guiding herself to a solution like she always did. But it wasn't leading her anywhere this time. Ah well, she concluded with a sigh. If he's calling me out, I suppose I'll have to go explain the matters to him in person. If Reamer wanted it, she wasn't that hesitant about a duel. But there was no real chance to talk things out. She wanted to be fully sure of that first. If she could meet with him, she'd have the answer. She'd have her answer. It seemed smarter than just fretting to herself. Either way, it's just what it's come to. It's up to me to settle it. It's too dangerous. Nicholas frantically
Nikolai,
protested. Nikolai? Okay.
Either
Nicholas
one,
frantically
either one.
protested.
Yeah.
There is no need for you to come out yourself. Not with the barefaced malice he clearly has for you. It wasn't enough to make Hinata change her mind. We'll never know that for sure unless we work out his intentions, will we? Plus, there is my apology to think about. Isn't it wiser to meet him once we try talking matters over? She had hoped this would put an end to the debate. Once again, as if waiting for the right moment, the 7 days clergy spoke up. That's your decision? Very well. May the protection of the god Luminous safeguard you. The demon lord Rimuru is a threat, yes. But even if your talks but even if your talks turn sour, there is no need for concern. You certainly have what it takes to defeat him. But Hinata, you're forgetting something important. Something. Indeed, the presence of that dragon. I fear not even you could defeat such a menace. Do not over. There's so many different voices. It's more hard trying to pick which one's which.
Yeah, just.
I'm just gonna go crazy with it. Do not overestimate your strength, Hinata. No attack would have faced that dragon.
It's just the Council of Jedis.
Just like, all right, well, who should I read this line as, chat? But take heart, Hinata. We will leave you with this. It's called the Dragon Buster Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Can't they be any more shameless about it? All I said was I talked to him, but they're already pushing me into trading blows. And their goal had to... is to have me take care of Veldor, right? Or is it? The 7 days clergy was a band of ex-humans enjoying Luminous's personal approval. Their faith was strictly for her. Hinata could understand if they wanted her to eliminate a dragon Luminous was so clearly concerned about. But she already knew that wasn't the only motivation. They were afraid that Luminous's affection would turn away from them and towards a new prodigy. That was why they were so unenthusiastic about training the younger generation. Why they actively schemed to eliminate anyone in their way. Those fools. They mean nothing but harm for Luminous. But Hinata did nothing to defy them. That was Luminous's decision. And Hinata was in no position to take action. Instead, she retained her calm. I will gladly accept it, she intoned as she took the Dragon Buster from Vena, the Friday priest, and he and his co-conspirators gave her satisfied nods. I hope things will go well, or I hope things go well for you. If worse comes to worse, that sword shall protect you. And if the again with the voice.
Mm.
And if the efforts end in failure, the responsibility will fall on your shoulders. And with that, the clergy took their leave. Lady Hinata. The paladins attempted to plead their case. She waved them off, turning a quick glance towards Louis behind the curtain. All right, you have your assignments. This joint session is hereby adjourned. The 3 battle sages sat there, tongues silenced despite whatever they had to say to her. The paladins meekly accepted it, respecting their leader's choices. We keep going, or just making sure?
I believe we still do. I didn't see any pictures yet, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, one more. Hinata woke from a light sleep. All that self-absorbed reflection on her memories must have made her fall asleep. She could detect an aurora of coffee as her consciousness began to focus. Nicholas, if ever so gallantly ingratiating himself with her, could be seen preparing breakfast in the adjacent room. Ah, are you awake? This was Cardinal Nicholas Spectus. Whatever. A man who Hinata felt... Speltus? Yeah. A man who Hinata felt was best described as unusual. He was a trusted advisor of the Holy Emperor, the supreme leader of Lubelius, which put him in the very peak of power in the land. But when dealing with Hinata, he was as steadfast and loving as a puppy. Come, breakfast is served. Would you like to eat? It was almost comical. Hard to imagine someone like him preparing breakfast for another person. To anyone else who knew him, Nicholas was was a devil in a saint's mask. Yeah, thanks. Nicholas happily nodded back. It was the first meal Hinata could honestly say she enjoyed in a while. Her work had barely given her time to sleep as of late, but now it was coming to an end. Are you leaving?
Also, hold on. Can I say something about this picture?
Yeah.
How does she wake up looking like that?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
And they just walk into the other room.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah, she's just like, yeah. I mean, look at that. Her hair is like fucking flawless.
Maybe it's
She wakes up like a
Maybelline.
fucking model, like, my fucking head. Otakon, what happened?
Look at those.
I woke up in the
titties.
body of. I know. I woke up in the body of a short.
That's the power of that's what faith in Luminous gives you. Really good hair. Even no bedhead.
And other things. Yeah.
Well,
I woke up in the
The
body.
passive of no bedhead.
continuing on, you'll
Yeah.
find out. All right, some of these questions will get answered in later books. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up.
She
and
pretty,
keep
though.
reading.
Okay.
Yes. She pretty.
I've been muted for the past however many seconds.
Wait. Or have you?
Oh, well.
Seconds.
Yes, because I
Oh.
responded when he said maybe it's born with it, and I was like, maybe it's Maybelline. And I
Oh.
was like, oh,
Yeah, it
did
didn't come out.
no one hear
I
that?
didn't hear
Yeah.
that. No. Sorry.
Oh, well. Shit.
Your hair looks great. What's your secret? Luminous, because I'm
I
worth
have
it.
been falling for 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
All right, come on. Let's
Yes.
do it.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
we're almost there.
Yeah, that's my job. That's my job.
That's my jam.
But it was I who ordered. It's my jam. Oh yeah.
my jam.
Wait, what? I just saw Shim.
Just
Believe
ignore
it or
him.
not,
Ignore
it's
him
you.
and read words. Ignore him. Read words.
Sorry.
Alright.
I'm just messing
No.
around.
And it just covered him up there.
Yeah.
He looked like fucking, oh, shit. What was it? From, Drill.
Yeah,
Oh,
Gurren
what?
Lagann.
Gurren
Gurren
Lagann.
Lagann, yeah.
Believe in the me
The guy
that
from
believes
Gurren
in you.
Lagann,
Finish
yeah.
the chapter.
Okay.
Yep.
But it was I who ordered Rahim to come here. And I'm the one who's gonna let you do so without comment. You don't need to concern yourself about it. Is there any way to convince you? Not to? Enough already. Stop worrying. It's not guaranteed to be a fight yet. And as if it wasn't guaranteed to be a defeat. Hinata still had a trick up her sleeve. Not some silly dragon buster, but something much loftier, nobler. Besides, Luminous had personally told her to restrain herself. She had zero intent of dying. If it came to blows, whether Rimuru was ascended or not, she believed he was still a defeatable target. For now. There was nothing to worry about. She wasn't 100% sure of victory, but she had a lot of experience with talking on targets bigger than her. Plus,
Taking.
she even had... Oh,
Sorry.
Taking?
Taking on targets. Yeah, taking on targets.
taking on. Oops.
Mhm.
Plus, even she had more than one ace up her sleeve. It was such a lovely morning. It didn't need to be marred with such gloomy talk. It'd work out fine, Nicholas, like it always does. You don't need to worry about a thing. She smiled, a small, gentle smile. The first one with no careful calculation behind it in a while. And that's it.
Yep. We got the interlude.
Woo!
All right. Interlude. A private chat.
Take us home.
hmm
We'll continue next week. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Henshin
Bye-bye.
Go-Go, baby.
The kingdom of Seltz-Rozo
Nice.
was a small realm nestled along the northern coastline between Inglacia and Farmus. It was currently providing the stage for a clandestine meeting that would change history forever.
I just realized someone redeemed Goofy a while ago. I didn't see
Oh.
that. I'm sorry.
So,
Oh, I didn't see that either.
how did it go? Just as we figured, our cover's still intact. That witch may have a sharp mind, but maybe she's nothing too scary after all. I wouldn't be so sure. Strength-wise, there's no downplaying it. She's the best in the West. Indeed, ill-advised artifice is powerless against brute force. I would recommend all of you to never forget that. Here, in a large fire-lit room in a realm kept cool all year round by blowing sea breeze, the 5 elders had gathered. Their dress was ornate, some crafted with Tempestian silk, still a rarity to obtain. It was inlaid with anti-magic artifacts, provided a full defense against any unexpected strikes. It spoke volumes about the group's financial backing. The room had, of course, been fully sealed off from the outside world, reinforced and designed to withstand magic up to a nuclear level. They even had stout A-rank knights standing guard in the middle. All of them were seated in a row, and with them was Glenda, the wild beauty with the spiky red hair, the raging sea, one of the 10 great saints, and 3 battle sages. Her main source of employment came from these 5 elders, the council's power brokers. One of them, clad in a loose white outfit, had eyes as sharp as a hawk, his presence dominating the room. Were it not for the charming doll-like little girl seated in his lap, she was maybe not quite 10 years old, and her hair a silky blonde, her lips a light shade of pink. At first glance, it looked like an old man babysitting his granddaughter, as much as the sight clashed against its surroundings. But nobody brought it up. They let the man do what he wanted, as if this was a given. For that man was Granville Roseau himself, head of the Roseau family and mediator of the 5 elders. The Roseaus of the Western nations were a family of rulers. Celts Roseau was their exclusively owned domain, and family members could be found among royalty in Farmus and Inglacia as well. The establishment of the Council of the West was largely the result of their tireless efforts, and while council seats were theoretically selected by its member nations, most were taken by those under the patronage of the Roseaus. Their power extended far beyond their diminutive borders, outclassing entire nations on the international stage. They could safely be called the de facto rulers of the Western nations. It was even their funding that let Yuki Kagarazaka establish the Free Guild. Granville was their leader, and nobody here was going to criticize the leader's behavior. He gave the girl on his lap a reassuring pat on the head as he solemnly spoke. Very good. A thin smile came to his lips. But Sir Damrata, I fear your lies have been uncovered, haven't they? This was in reference to Glenda's report that Hinata had discovered she was being taken advantage of. The question was addressed to Damrata, dressed all in black and covering his face with a broad, umbrella-like hat. He, too, held himself like high nobility, although his clothing was rare in these parts. He was not from the Western nations. I don't see a problem with that. We may have lost Hinata Sakaguchi's trust, but we earned a great deal in return. Your trust, my good man Granville. Ha! You say that even though the East has come here to spread division in the West and make money off the ensuing weapon sales. Then the Empire will wait until we're exhausted to take action, yes? Trust hardly comes into it. Well. I should have expected such fine insightfulness from you, my good man. Are you denying it? No point in doing so, is there? Well, how kind of you to say. But back to the main issue. Yes. We both agree that Hinata needs to be eliminated, am I right? Of course. It goes without saying that Veldora the Storm Dragon was the Empire's greatest impediment to its western expansion. Now they say he has been tamed by the demon lord Rimuru. Whether that is true or not, it is safe to say now that the dragon can be negotiated with. That opens an opportunity for us. The next issue is the threat of the Western Holy Church. They are the glue that holds all these nations together, and with that, the Empire's full strength would not be enough to seize the West. Oh? So we hardly merit notice from you. I don't mean that at all. All 5 of you are intelligent and understanding of your interests. After the Empire takes over the West, I hope we can continue to work together to control its economy. Work together? Are you asking us to lead the Empire directly to our doors? Don't make me laugh. The Empire's a powerful thing, you know? It will be difficult, but not impossible. Are you opposing us? Such insolence from a mere weapons merchant. It was Glinda who finally took verbal offense at this. She took out an unfamiliar weapon, a pistol, from her clothing and pointed it at Damrata.
Alright,
Sure,
bitch.
just
Delete
You
that.
hear
packing
me?
heat right
You
now.
hear
Hold up.
me?
Shh. The next part, all right, as crazy as that may seem to you guys, the next part is the scary part.
Oh.
Ooh.
Damrata was unfazed. He knows what that is.
Oh.
That should scare the shit
Oh
out of
yeah.
you, okay?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, I know.
And not because he was
Interesting.
unaware of what the weapon could do. A pistol? He sounded less than impressed. I'm surprised to see you here in the West. Oh, you know what this thing is? It doesn't seem to bother you too much. Of course I know. Do you think the West is the only place one can find other worlders? And remember, I deal in weapons. It is my job to be familiar with every type of weapon out there. The one you are pointing at me is common in my lands. They are being manufactured in great quantities.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well.
That's, yep. So you're like,
That's
oh,
not good.
somebody brought out a gun. And they were like,
Oh shit, she's packing heat.
It's like,
I'm
It
sorry,
would have
just
been
the
cooler if
picture
he
is
just
really
yanked
funny.
it out
It's
of her
like-
hands and just dismantled it.
It's like, motherfucker,
I-
we're
I
all
like-
packing heat. All right, anyway.
I like that we have a picture here because in the first one's like, oh, she's so fucking cute, and then this one, oh shit.
Yeah, all right.
No,
I mean,
that's
she's
that's
still
not
fucking
her
cute.
though. She just got the delete this face.
The five elders couldn't hide their surprise at Damrata's disinterested explanation. What? In great quantities? You Eastern traders are shrewd indeed. Truly, there is no telling the strength of the Imperial forces. It may be no match for monsters, but against a person, this weapon is all but unstoppable. Damrata was not a man who lied. What he did do was take advantage of the way he was interpreted, leading people to misunderstand his words. Anyone who dealt with him was advised to be on their guard, and if you dissected his sentences, it was clear to see the malice dripping off of them. Here, Damrata was giving them a warning. Better to work for the Empire, not oppose it. Oh, better to work with the Empire, not oppose it. But you're right, we
Yes.
are understanding of our interest, and as you say, it is best we put our heads down and work together for now. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't Damrata. But you're right, we are understanding of our interest, and as you say, it's best to put our heads down and work together for now. Granville's solemn voice restored order among the elders. Are you sure about this, Sir Granville? Enough, Glenda. Our goals were the same from the beginning. Now is not the time for hostilities. Glenda did not challenge him further. Granville's decisions were final, and Damrata had a lot to listen to, in terms of what it meant to everyone involved. He was the powerful leader of the weapons trading firm, much like the Rozos, who earned political rule through their financial power. If the situation was different, they would be in more direct competition with each other, but not now. Well said, my good man. That may not always be the case, but for now, we are comrades. Indeed, Farmus and Inglacia achieve balance by retaining their own powers, and I do not wish to tilt the scales. It is uncertain what motivation Rimuru has for toppling Farmus, but I do not want that land to be ruled by a demon lord. I can understand that, yes. It pains us as well to lose the trade route through Farmus from the Dwarven Kingdom. The demon lord Clayman was a valuable trading partner to us, and I cannot say I appreciate Rimuru defeating him. I will be glad to work with you, so... He paused. So you want us to handle Hinata? Offered Granville. No need to worry here. We set a trap for her, and she's already stepped in it. Now, all we have to do is rile Rimuru into taking care of her for us. Yep, added Glinda. No doubt about it. Hinata saw Rimuru's message, and it sent her marching right to Tempest. Now, we just have to turn that Demon Lord's anger toward her. I'm glad to hear that, but why are you so intent on eliminating Hinata? I would think a saint like her would be more useful alive than dead. Damrata turned toward Granville, attempting to decipher his feelings on the subject. Granville laughed him off. It's simple. That woman is too strong. It is no exaggeration to call her the strongest knight in the West. The magic-born Razan, Grandmaster Yuki, Lightspeed Masayuki, she stands above even those champions. You understand that, and that's why you're trying to use us, no? Am I wrong, Sir Damrata? Yes, she is truly frightening. Too much to handle, you would say. And that is why you want to take this piece off the board. It makes sense. The two of them exchanged a nod. As alike as they were, one nod could communicate much between them. Thus, without any further discussion on the topic, the group moved on to determine their work assignments. Damrata promised to eliminate the demon maneuvering behind the scenes in Farmus. Good luck. He ordered Glinda to set the Temple Knights stationed in the nations surrounding Farmus to action, also promising to work with the new king, Edward, and chase down the Rimuru-aligned faction supporting Admaris. Then he would spread rumors that Hinata was traveling to Tempest to defeat Rimuru, pinning him down and making it impossible for him to send reinforcements to other lands. As long as they could take care of that demon calling the shots, it would be easy to make Yom and his band disappear, and by that time, Rimuru would have no choice but to defeat that troublemaker Hinata.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be
But
fun
what
to
if
watch
Hinata
later.
Sakaguchi actually defeats him? That would be helpful for us as well. But don't worry, Rimuru is not like the other demon lords. He is a dangerous element, one we will have to take care of sooner or later. But with Veldora on his side, killing him would be ill-advised. We have other plans in motion. I will leave that in your talented hands, then. Certainly. Just don't mess up how you deal with that demon, all right? I need no reminders, Damrata said. I'm sure the Western Holy Church... Hold on.
Bless you. Luminous be upon thee.
No.
Do we go for 3?
Get out.
Salute.
Get out of this call. Did you just say may luminous be upon you to a Rimuruist? You get the fuck out of this call.
No.
How fucking dare you? That's the equivalent of saying, I hope you burn in hell.
Listen, buddy.
Just
Are
for
you only
sneezing?
saying that
Just for sneezing?
I was gonna say.
Go fuck
is it
yourself,
because
sir.
Oh, the man too.
Is it because you saw the picture, my man? Did you look at a picture of Hinata and you're like, oh man, well she likes Luminous.
I mean, like, Hinata's pretty fun, you know.
These luminous girls. I don't know.
I know what
It's different, you know.
I know what my Lord Rimuru is going to grow into. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Bitch,
true.
please. Bitch, please. He's already more powerful than Hinata right now. And he's
Milim
gonna
would
grow
slaughter
further.
them
that's
all.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If only she had top to go with that bottom.
More like
Yeah, Milim. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Here we
Dumb
go.
Rada, more like Dumb Rada.
Dumb Rana. All right, here we go.
I shall execute the heretic now with my force lightning.
I'm
Do
sure the Western Holy Church has demon experts on their side as well, but the East has a much more extensive organization for that. Not even an archdemon will be a problem for it. Very good. In that case, I'd best be going. Granville nodded as Damrata gave a small bow and left the room. Only the Rozos and their bodyguards remained. Once they were sure Damrata was gone, Glinda let out an exaggerated sigh. Malice. That is all that merchant gives us, treating us like children. It drives me crazy. Granville gave a cold look at the door. Don't be that way, Glenda. Even with that attitude, we've been treated with the greatest of respect. But, Sir Granville, Glenda, he calmly chided, you don't know who those people really are. Hinata knew them well enough, yes. Merchants of death, peddling weapons behind the scenes. She let that slide because they were useful to her out in the open. But if she knew their true nature, she would never associate with them. Their true nature? Yes. They are part of an underground organization known as Cerberus, and Damrata the Gold is one of their leaders. The rest of the elders nodded in agreement. They knew who they were dealing with, which was why all five in attendance. Which is why all five were in attendance. Glenda could understand their concern. Huh, I've heard of that group. How they rule the underworld of the East and so on. No, challenging them wouldn't be a great idea, huh? I look forward to seeing what they're capable of. She flashed a wild grin as Granville nodded at her and stroked the blonde hair of the girl on his lap. This may not go so easily for you, Damrata. The demon you are dealing with is no mere archdemon. There was real mirth to his laugh. His research showed that the demon was so strong that not even the magic-born Razan would be a problem for him. It was a good chance to test out the skills of Damrata's group, but they needed to consider what to do if it was defeated. If it comes to that, I could step up. I imagine he won't be a problem for you, but just in case, I'd like to get the other battle sages involved as well. Yes, good point, another elder said. The demon lord Rimuru needs to be weakened in any way possible. A demon that dangerous must be addressed at once. And even if we fail at that, we need to do whatever it takes to ensure the victory of Pharmacis' royal force. Yes, said Granville. That demon cannot make any grandiose moves. If he throws his power around on the public stage, it will be harder for him to keep other nations from talking. The more dangerous the threat, the more terrified politicians you'll find screaming for his head. You know what your job is, right, Glenda? I want you to use Cerberus to check that demon's movements. If Damrata and his men could kill the demon, then great. If they couldn't, for some reason, he was helpless anyway, surrounded by hostile royalist forces. It'd be easy for Glenda and the ex-battle sage Rama to rub him out personally, but as long as they could keep the demon from taking action, mission accomplished. Yom's force could never take on the federated forces of Pharmacis' new king. To achieve this, Granville saw fit to take every possible precaution and bring Sare and Grigori, the other two battle sages, into their mix. Their formation needed to be rock solid. You got it, Glenda said with a proud grin. Glenda Atlee is on the job. Having a family name, despite not being nobility, was unique in these lands. It was because Glenda was not from here at all. She was another worlder, summoned on the sly by Seltz Rozo, or really the Rozo family itself. She was an ex-mercenary who learned military tactics during a stint in the Foreign Legion of an undisclosed nation. And her skills, honed by her worldwide travels, were exemplary. She wielded the unique skill Sniper, which let her handle all types of guns and projectile arms with ease. And she was also a gifted combat fighter and assassin, using a knife as her weapon of choice. She was a born predator, one whose faithfulness to Granville was etched into her soul when she was summoned. In her eyes, even Hinata, Lubellian's survivor of 10 years of warfare, was a mere child. Glenda had a war-torn upbringing in her world, and a planet where a woman can be top of the heap just by gaining a little power at age 16 or 17 was a paradise compared with the hell she went through. But that sadly was based on the assumption that this world was fair to all its people. It wasn't, in reality. That was why people prayed to gods, after all. It was in the teachings of Luminism. But even after attaining a position in the 3 battle sages, she had forgotten about that. Right. In that case, I will have Blood Shadow stir Sare and Grigori into action. Make sure you do your part as well. Blood Shadow was the Rozo family's darker side, a group of battle-hardened fighters who were open to any type of work given to them. It was familiar to many otherworlders, Glinda included, bound by contract to fight for the sake of the Rozos. Glinda nodded. You're going to use them, then? All right. All for the sake of the family and my freedom. You may go. With Granville's order, Glinda left the room, a fire burning in her eyes. The fire in the hearth burned a shade of red, crackling to life as it grew brighter. Is all of this good for you, Maribel? Yes, very much so, Grandfather. Deploying this group will prevent both of them from taking action. Rimuru will be too busy dealing with Hinata to help Farmus. Once the Western nations intervene to put an end to the Civil War, in the name of Edward, of course, then he'll be indebted to you, won't he? That's exactly right, Maribel. And I refuse to allow anyone to mess with the sandbox we rule over. Kind of bold of them to just assume that Rimuru can't do two things at once. Or that he doesn't have a strong enough army to just break off. Like, literally, he could split his army in half and it'd be fine. The amount of...
And then he technically has 2 brains.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This whole series could be, we dramatically underestimated Rimuru. That's what it could be.
Yeah.
And
it's fun to hear, like, all the bad guys just scheme as, like, yes, this will happen. And just as a third-party viewer of all this, you're just like...
It's very rare.
I'm just waiting to see this all fall apart.
It's very rare, but sometimes the villains do succeed in fucking with Rimuru. And when that happens, things get so much worse for them.
I don't know, man. It just seems like a lot
that's
of
how
them
you know they're going to die.
Because Farmus did it before. Remember, Farmus came in and slaughtered people in his city. And that led to Rimuru.
20,000 people.
20,000 people. Rimuru became a demon
catharsis
lord.
arc.
Like, literally.
And then 3.
Dude, I mean, it gets crazy.
And then 3 people being turned into sentient meat blobs. How do you not hear that and then be like, oh yeah, we could take them?
They probably didn't hear about that part. They probably
okay, because I was gonna say,
or I don't know. Maybe
they missed the memo.
Anyway,
people talk shit, get hit. The fucking anime.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Were it not for the Demon Lord's shadow cast over the Farmus conflict, he could have given support to both sides and turned the fight into a stalemate. But that had the potential of gifting Inglacia too much power. A single force dominating over the land was not the will of the Rozos. Instead, Granville maneuvered to retain an ideal balance. For the Rozos, the blonde, lovable Maribel said. The world. For the Rozos, everyone else shouted back. The world.
Of course.
This was the center of the world that the Rozos sought to bring completely under their rule, and under the cover of the Council of the West, this desire was beginning to take real shape, to grow steadily and grow large. And that's Zawardo! And that's the end of that's the end of chapter 3. We will be starting chapter 4 next week. That's when the plotting and the scheming and all that stuff starts to slowly start fading into the background. There's still plotting and scheming going on, but but yeah, we get the second confrontation, and that's when we start moving things into action, and then it becomes fun when we hit chapter 5 because holy and demonic collide, and that's literally when you're gonna find out how everyone else fared with gods and demon lords. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's a bunch of things that are going to happen simultaneously kind of in the next chapter. And then we're going to get, Hinata versus Rimuru. Everything is going to come to a conclusion. So all these little things that have been happening throughout this book, the Civil War in Farmus, how that's going to wrap up, that will conclude. The Hinata versus Rimuru round 2 will conclude, and then we'll have an aftermath kind of thing And that will be that.
Nice.
It's going to be fun.
Cool.
We've only got 3 more
Yes.
chapters left in this book, and we're a little over halfway now. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, within a
We're at
couple more
51%.
weeks,
Nice.
within a few more weeks, we will officially be done with this and moving on to chapter 8, God willing.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how long it takes us. See, this time around, I just made everybody else read. That way, it was a lot easier for us to not get distracted because you guys were busy trying to fucking read. So
That's fair.
I mean, we could still.
I think we did a
you
good
know,
job. We covered
spend
it.
another
we
hour
did,
just making jokes.
we asked a little bit.
no, I'm good. I'm good on the
Better than
not
last
spending
stream.
another hour on fucking puns.
We were very misbehaving last stream.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, for sure. But it was.
Oh,
so
we
much
gotta do that
fun.
every so often.
Yeah, but it was all right.
All
fun.
work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Guys, we
I'm
really
sleepy anyway.
appreciate your
Holy
help
shit.
on this goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Trying to get $20 to help DDA get the forest. Otherwise, yeah, we're pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Holy cow, guys! Thank you so much
That's a
for
good level workout.
the reading today. That was
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
a
You powered
good
through
reading.
really
Oh
session.
yeah.
Minimal distractions. per
minimal
usual,
I,
but-
distractions.
I didn't
Yeah,
get to do Cali from the Valley.
Do
That's
it
my
for next-
favorite.
Didn't you? I
They
thought you did.
I am on
No,
here.
They
won't,
didn't
I
get
will.
redeemed.
All right, guys.
Anyway, thanks for coming, guys.
Have yourselves a good night.
Mhm.
Bye bye.
So long.
Bye bye.